What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick. All I want for Christmas is loot. Kackis here, and today we have a brand new Xur Location and Inventory review for the weekend of December 3rd to the 6th. And so, let's get started. So, first things first, Xur is in the tower hangar, and taking a look at what he has, firstly, as my Titan. For exotics, we do have the Huckleberry, a decent SMG if you want to grab that. Then we've got the Radiant Flux for the Hunter. Not a terrible stat distribution here, like decent mobility spike, decent intellect spike, but 61 is on the lower end. This actually did get a buff recently also. Then we've got the Insurmountable Skull Fort for the Titan. Way too much mobility in my opinion. A huge amount of strength though, which is kind of what you want for this exotic. 63 isn't terrible, so maybe consider it if you don't have a better one. And lastly, for the Warlock, we have the Apotheosis Veil, 63 overall, great recovery, okay intellect, a little too much mobility maybe. So again, pretty average exotic rolls so far. Then let's check these legendary weapons. Firstly, we have the Dire Promise here, and this is actually a pretty decent one because we have snapshot sights to massively increase the ADS time, but we also have elemental capacitor. And guys, this is actually a pretty saucy one because as you can see, if you're arc, it increases handling. So as long as you're an arc subclass, it just gives you like straight plus 50 to your handling, basically maxing this out. I mean, look at this handling. It is literally maxed out. It's crazy. So maybe consider picking this up if you want an incredibly snappy Dire Promise. Then the Enigma's Draw opening shot is going to pretty massively extend the range on that first shot. Rapid hit, not, terrible. This is an okay sidearm if you want to pick it up. Then we've got the False Promises, a 360 RPM auto. Eye of the Storm, Threat Detector, not a huge fan of this. Archetype, not great. Roll, not great. Then we've got the Aikilo Sniper with box breathing and no distractions and Seraph rounds. An interesting roll, but rapid fire frame snipers aren't doing super well right now in this roll. I don't think it does it for me. Then we've got an interesting one. Okay, the first in, last out here with auto-loading and demolitionist. Now guys, auto-loading and Vorpal Weapon for the first and last out is quite literally considered the utter god roll. This having an appended mag increasing the magazine instead of having assault mag for more rate of fire. That's somewhat of a downside, but still appended is pretty good. And honestly, demolitionist is still a very, very good PvE perk with this thing. It's going to let you throw a grenade and instantly refill all 7 rounds in the magazine, so that's going to do wonders for your DPS, being able to have 14 rounds in a row, basically. So yeah, if you don't have the utter god roll first and last out, this I would say is just below the god roll. Seriously consider getting this, especially if you're a new player. It's going to be pretty darn good. Then we've got this Honor's Edge here with Energy Transfer and Shattering Blade. Shattering Blade is a pretty unique and rare perk on swords. It's spawning a little bit more frequently these days, but yeah, that doesn't mean it's good, it's just unique. Alright, moving on from there, we do have a Keening here with rapid hit and surrounded actually is not terrible for PvE. The problem is that when are you going to use a sidearm for PvE? Alright, now let's check out this armor. Firstly, we got the gauntlets, pretty average roll overall. Certainly not bad, but not that spiky. 62 is okay. Then we've got 60 again, which is okay, but we have a much bigger focus on recovery here. Great recovery and not too bad discipline either. Like, this is actually a relatively good pickup if you're a new player. Then moving on from there, the helmet, another 60 roll, big resilience spike, and then we got a little bit of a mobility, strength, maybe some discipline. Not terrible, really not groundbreaking here either. And then the legs, 64 is great, to be perfectly honest, and a lot of resilience, okay recovery. Like, this is, I would say, a good overall pickup. This is just at a base level, decent. Again, if you're a brand new player, if you don't have anything better, get this. But let's move on to the Warlock. Okay, for the Warlock, checking these gauntlets, that is quite a resilience spike. But 59, I'm not a fan of anything below 60, but Warlocks actually need resilience, specifically if you're running well, so maybe if you're desperate for a resilience pickup in your well build. Then we've got this chest armor. And in my opinion, that is way too much mobility and not spiky anywhere else, so I'm going to skip that. Helmet, okay, this is a great discipline spike. 60 overall is okay, and then 22 discipline right off the bat. Like, if you're wanting a grenadier build, this is a great pickup. And then these boots, not a fan of 59, but an okay intellect spike and okay everything else. Yeah, pretty average. I think probably the best thing here is this helmet. Let's move on to the hunter. Alright, now checking things out on the hunter, let's see those gauntlets. Okay, that's an okay recovery spike. Like we've said, 60 is right on the nose of kind of the cutoff. So yeah, if you're a hunter and you really want some recovery, remember, like 19 is pretty good. If you masterwork these, it'll go up to 21, and then you're getting 2 tiers of recovery. Then we've got this chest piece here. We've got spikes in resilience, recovery, and intellect. Certainly not terrible, honestly. Pretty low mobility, though, for the hunter, but I would consider these if you're lacking in any of these. Then we've got the helmet. Okay, so no resilience, and then recovery, discipline, intellect, and mobility, and then no strength. Honestly, like, okay, but not too amazing. And then lastly, we've got these boots. No intellect, no recovery, a little spike in everything else. You know, pretty average as well. I would say that none of the armor has really stood out as absolutely fantastic, but certainly there's some okay pickups for new players. I think the highlights this week are actually, you know, if you don't have the Huckleberry, get it, it's actually not bad. This is a max mobility dire promise, max handling dire promise. You can see the handling is not max because I'm not using that arc subclass here, but when it's on, it's literally to the moon. And then probably this first in, last out, really, really solid PvE role. And so guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKackis. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.